Good morning, everyone. How are we doing today? First of all, I want to welcome you to this exciting continuing education class. Now, I know that there's many of you out there that are just here for the CCUs, and you don't really care about the information that we're going to be talking about today in this continuing education class, but I can promise you, it's not just about the lunch, which, yes, is included. The lunch is included, but before we get to talking about what is going to be served for lunch today, it's a good one. It's a good one today. Lunch is good. Before we get to that, and I just want to say, I hope that you stay through lunch, because if you don't stay through lunch, I won't be signing your continuing education units, which I will be passing around in just a second. Now, my name is Janet Smith Johnson. Smith Johnson is hyphenated. You'll need to know that, because if you don't do it appropriately on the sheet, I'll know that you came late and you didn't hear me mention that Smith Johnson is hyphenated, and I won't be signing your continuing education units. Okay, we're not here today just to get points for your supervisor. Okay, we're not here just today for promotions and because you have to get so many units every year. We're here today because we really want to educate ourselves. Today's exciting continuing education class is titled Colleen Ballinger, How to Fuck Your Career. And it's a really good one. Now, I have done, I think at this point, 152 continuing education classes about Colleen Ballinger and the downfall of her own career. So today will just be another addition to that. I see some familiar faces out there. Judy, it's good to see Judy. I think you've been here for almost every single one. Judy, it is so good to see you. Raven Simone. Oh, we have a celebrity in the house today. Raven Simone, you're what? No, Raven. It's pronounced Colleen. Now I know. I saw your podcast interview. No, I'm pretty sure I've done 152 of these now. It's Colleen, not Colleen. I know you got it wrong. I know you'll probably be issuing a statement about how bad your interview was. We'll be talking about your interview today, Raven, and your wife Miranda. Yeah, I know. Oh, she's here too. Oh, yeah, she's in the toilet. Okay, well, both of you are kind of, but I just want to say thank you guys so much for coming to my continuing education class today. And like I said, we're not just here for the CCUs, okay? We're not just here for the continuing education units. We are here to educate ourselves on how to fuck your own career, like Colleen Ballinger did. And I think today's class is going to be very interesting because it comes from the voice of the people. It comes from the voice of people out there that have observed this. I won't just be teaching my own source material, of which I've been compiling for the last 2 years. It's not just my own source material that I'll be referencing, but mostly the material of other people that have been on the outside watching the downfall of Colleen Ballinger's career. So I just want to say thank you to Colleen Ballinger for giving us all this information to continue to talk about. I don't think that I'd be here today, and I also want to thank the Motel 6 for allowing us to have this beautiful convention room today. I know it's a little cold in here, you guys. I know it's a little cold. Their heat's not working today. But like I said, I promised you that we are going to have a fantastic lunch, okay? It's really good. Today we're having Subway. Now you can either get the tuna fish salad sandwich and it's a 6-inch. I know. No, Judy, I know. You always want to get the foot long. I know, Judy, but today it's just a 6-inch. I'm sorry. Well, there's a lot of people here today. There's a lot because it's just, Colleen just continues. Okay. Judy, if we have a little extra, I'll sneak you a little extra. Okay. But today you either get the tuna fish salad sandwich. Yeah, I know. It's one of my favorites too. Or you can have the turkey and ham club. Okay. Now, because if you stay through lunch, because I know a lot of you will probably go out to other places, but I'm telling you, Subway is one of my favorites. Don't you just love Subway? Subway is one of my favorites too. But if you stay through lunch, okay, there will be Subway cookies at the end. I know. The macadamia white chocolate's my favorite too. Okay. And you also have to stay through lunch. You have to stay through the entire thing, or I won't be passing out the CCUs that are signed until the very end. So then you should probably just leave right now. I know. Yeah. Did you already get your coffee and your free bagel when you came in? Okay, so Roderick, my assistant, he is passing these out right now. And you're going to put my name at the top of it, Smith Johnson, that's hyphenated. Or if you don't get it correctly, I see some people coming in here right now. I know, 6:30 is awfully early. 6:30 is awfully early. I know, traffic was bad. 6:30 is awfully early, but we want to hear all the source material today. Okay, so you can take this back to your teams and you can report back. You also got the pamphlets, and the pamphlets on your desk in front of you. They have all the resource materials, all the interviews. We're going to be highly talking today about Raven Simone and her wife. Oh, there she comes. Hi, Miranda. It's good to see you. Oh, you're having a shitty morning in the toilet. Okay, thank you so much. Well, maybe we can hear some more of your excuses for Colleen Ballinger today. But But anyway, Roderick, was there another option for if you didn't like the white macadamia nut? Oh, peanut butter. Peanut butter is your other option. So I just want to thank you all for being here today for this exciting continuing education class. So, well, with that, let's get started in this video, you guys. No, it's not. It's not Janet Smith Johnson. I know that you were very surprised by that. I wanted to start this off with kind of a little, you know, at this point, I just feel like, yes, this is Peter. This is Peter. I feel like it is so far surpassed being problematic with Colleen Ballinger and scary and worrisome to the point of it becoming, I mean, it's become with the ukulele and everything, one of the biggest internet jokes. And it's just at this point, it's just absolutely ridiculous. But I think what's interesting about it is, and I was kind of thinking of something that I was like laying in bed last night, and I was like, how do I want to start this video? Because every time I do a Colleen Ballinger video, I always just go, hello, 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 let's just get right into it. And I was like, I can't even take this interview. So if you didn't watch my last video that I did, I extensively covered the Raven-Symoné and her wife Miranda's interview that they did with Colleen Ballinger. So I went through and I took notes, and I highly cover that. I think my video was like 1 hour and 16 minutes, which is a long, I know I do long videos, but it was a long video for me over here. So I did that video and I got a lot of comments about it. And so in that video, I said that I was going to go and I wanted to do it all combined together as one big video, but I thought it was too long. I wanted to go in and I wanted to read the comments on the interview, because one of the things that people were saying was that if you look at the comments on the interview compared to the comments on Colleen Ballinger's, her own vlog, that it's obvious that she highly deletes and blocks people. There's not ever one negative comment on Colleen Ballinger's vlogs. I mean, there might be one critical comment like in 200, but if she even gets 200 comments anymore, but very, very rarely is there anything negative, right? Which, coming from a woman that says she wished in the interview, multiple times she says, I should have listened to my fans. My biggest mistake was I should have listened to my fans. Well, I think in this world, as an influencer, one of the things that you know is that you're not going to always hear from your fans loving adoration. You're going to hear a lot of critical things too, that people are going to say to you. And, you know, and so it's not just always, you know, pats on the back and all that kind of stuff. So she truly wants to hear what her fans are saying. Why is she editing comments? So for me, the place to go see what's real is, and like, if you go to a drama commentary channel like mine, okay, you're going to probably get, and I don't delete or block comments over here. You're going to get I mean, when I did my video the other day, I got a couple comments of people defending Colleen and things like that. Mostly, I think people can see Colleen for the shit show that she is. But on the reason why the comments on this interview are very telling of what the public perception of Colleen Ballinger is because you have Raven and Miranda, who are supposedly impartial to Colleen Ballinger, supposedly, and they are interviewing Colleen, and they're actually giving Colleen a lot of excuses. They're defending her a lot in the interview, but then Raven tries to kind of like be hard with her a little bit, and so they're trying as best to be as unbiased as possible. It was a joke. It was a shit show. It didn't fall. But I think it's a perfect example of what the public opinion is of Colleen Ballinger right now, because on her channel, you're not going to get a real perception of what that is, because, and this is why I think covering the comments is important. On her channel, you're not going to get a real perception of what that is, because you're going to just see what she wants you to see. On a drama commentary channel's video, you're going to see a lot of people probably that are siding with, like, let's be critical of Colleen Ballinger. But on an interview where they're platforming her and they're giving her an opportunity to explain what happened, and they're defending her and they're giving her excuses, but they're also trying to be unbiased in it. I think of all of the videos that have happened in the last 2 years, I think this is I don't think the video is fair. That's not what I'm saying. I thought the interview was shit, okay? I'm saying as far as the comment sections, and they're not deleting comments over there. I think it's the fairest example of where the public opinion of Colleen Ballinger stands, because I think you're going to get people that are going to defend her, and I think you're going to get people that are going to be critical of her. So I think it's the fairest example of what the public opinion is of Colleen Ballinger 2 years after the incident in 2025. And so that's why I wanted to cover it over here today. I also said that I was going to watch Adam McIntyre's videos. He's made a couple videos at this point about Colleen Ballinger. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to watch them, and I'm going to cover them over here. Okay, so I just want to make that clear. I'm still going to do that. Adam McIntyre, I did watch the beginning of his last video where he is covering iNabber's coverage of the Colleen Ballinger interview with Raven-Symoné and Miranda. And at the beginning of that video, he said, and I think this is a really, really healthy choice for Adam, he said that he hopes that this will be the last video that he does covering Colleen Ballinger, and that he needs to step away from it a little bit, and that he was really happy when he wasn't like making Colleen videos, and that for like 3 months he hadn't made any videos about Colleen, and he was in a really happy spot and whatever, and it just is like emotionally draining for him. Apparently Trisha Paytas has talked about this as well, about it being emotionally draining for her as well. I will say this, okay, and I've said this for a while, I am in no way directly related to the Colleen Ballinger story. I am just a drama commentary channel that has covered it. When I was heavily covering it, and heavily covering the James Charles situation, those videos, I mean, I would turn off the camera, and I was in a really dark space. Like, it just really negatively affected me. I've said over here for a very long time, if you've watched me, that I like to do lighthearted videos. I know that people like, when I did my video the other day, people were like, oh, Peter's back. I love this voice of you. You have a voice of reason. And I appreciate that. And that means so much to me. And I think it is important for us to have important conversations. And this is one of the reasons why I have 8 channels, because I can have fun on my other channels if I have to talk about something important over here, because I want to continue to have the important conversations. And I'm going to continue to have the important conversations over here. But if I was that affected by talking about really dark subject matter, because like I said, I've talked about it over here, if you've watched my channel for a long time, that I like to do more of the lighthearted stuff, right? And commentary has changed since I started here 9 years ago. You know, we would start with doing really lighthearted stuff, and now we're talking about predators, and that was just not what it was at the beginning. I didn't know 9 years ago that I would be talking about subject matter like this. I mean, honest to God, I had no idea. Like I said, I think it's important. But if I'm just somebody covering the story and I'm not affected by it, I can't imagine being in the middle of it. I cannot even imagine. And I think it's a healthy choice for Adam. I do enjoy his coverage of him talking about Colleen Ballinger, because I think he has an inside seat to what it all was about. And I think he has a different perspective than we all show. I also think that self-care and taking care of yourself is always a priority, is the priority and primary. So, you know, he said in there, he goes, he knows he's going to disappoint somebody, but I think you have to take, the people that love Adam are not going to care that he steps away from talking about Colleen. And there's enough people talking about Colleen that Adam doesn't have to. I think it's a really, really healthy choice. I am going to cover his videos because I haven't watched them in all their entirety yet, and I want to see what he has to say about it. And then, you know, unless Colleen does something else and shows up on another podcast, I probably won't talk about her for a little while either. Or maybe I will. I don't know. But anyway, the reason why I started off with I was thinking last night, like I was going to do some joke, like referencing Mariah Carey, because I know Adam loves Mariah Carey, and I was like singing songs in my head and stuff like that. And I didn't want to just like flip the fan like I usually do, because I felt like that was almost a little too flippant, not to be literal, but literally a little too flippant for subject matter like this. The reason why I picked the CCU thing is because I think you have to be of a certain age to understand what it's like to sit through a continuing education class, right? And what's interesting is that I think the majority of my audience will understand the reference of a continuing education class, or staying till after lunch to get your CCUs, because we used to always dip out because we didn't want to stay till after lunch. And so I think there's this perception of what the age group is that watches Colleen Ballinger, you know, and who's defending Colleen Ballinger. And so I wanted to do kind of more of like, you know, like 16-year-olds aren't going to understand what a continuing education class is unless they've heard their parents talk about it. I don't think I went to my first continuing education class. I know this is stupid, but I didn't go to my first continuing education class until I was probably like 24. So I don't know that most people that are in their teens are going to understand what that means. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, or that experience. And so to see who thinks a joke is funny, it was going to kind of gauge, well, who is watching the story of Colleen Ballinger, you know, like things like that. So anyway, the video that I want to do today is I want to go in and I want to talk about this interview. I took notes on it. I did such a heavy coverage of it the other day that I'm not going to. And I also wanted to start this video on a light note. That was the other reason why I wanted to do something like that. And I have made like 152 videos at this point about it. And I also wanted to, I mean, it was just ridiculous to me that they have somebody on there that they can't even get their names right. I mean, to me, like I said in the video the other day, I've seen other people do that. And I'm like, you're literally getting 100, 200,000 views on a video and you're mispronouncing somebody's name. Like, number one, it's disrespectful to the person that you're interviewing, even if you think that person's a piece of shit, okay? Or if you think that they're the most fantastic thing in the entire world. It's disrespectful to that. It's disrespectful to the subject, okay? To not come out and say, even in the description box, we apologize for getting her name wrong, or we apologize for getting this celebrity's name wrong. I just think it's disrespectful. And I don't care about Colleen Ballinger. I see this happen all the time on YouTube. And I know a lot of it is like AI generated stuff, but the fact that they chose to, there was a lot of discussion in my comment section the other day about this idea to platform Colleen Ballinger. I even said in my video at the end, I mean, I think it's an interesting choice that they chose to platform Colleen Ballinger, but you know, there's this discussion about who we should platform, who we shouldn't platform, and things like that, and whatever. There was also several comments on my video, and I saw it on the interview as well, that if this were a man, okay, that had predatory allegations towards a 15-year-old young woman, would Raven-Symoné and Miranda be having him on their podcast and be asking the same questions and defending him to the same length and things like that, and wanting to have funny kind of banter back and forth at the beginning and talk about the elephant in the room and how did you get your character on the show and things like that. And I think that's an interesting point of view. I don't know. But I thought that that was interesting that that was brought up. Not just in my comment sections. I've seen it in a lot of videos that people are talking about it. And I think it's the difference of how people look at Colleen Ballinger, and I think the relatability of who watches Colleen Ballinger and things like that. I don't know. But I wanted to go through and I wanted to read some of these comments because I just thought the interview was just such, to be honest with you, like I looked on their channel because I pulled up the video, obviously, to read the comments, and they've just kind of gone on and kept on posting stuff. I can't believe, and I don't really know a lot about the history of Raven and Miranda, but a lot of people put in the comment section of my video the other day that they have kind of like problematic pasts and things like that, and things that, and in their opinions that they've shared online, they have problematic, that they've been called out for stuff. I don't know a lot about that. What I do know is that I always think it's interesting when you do something, I mean, the comments are very, very telling. When you do something that you completely fucking miss the mark on so much, and you don't feel like you stand your ground so much that you don't feel like you even owe it to your audience to even come out and address it. It's one of the reasons why, if you guys know what I'm talking about with the Manny and Laura podcast, when Manny and Laura originally came out and talked about the Adam McIntyre allegations, and I watched it happen in real time, and Manny, who had made inappropriate videos with Colleen Ballinger as Miranda sings, Manny said he felt sorry for Colleen Ballinger, you know, and Laura said she didn't really know much about the story, didn't happen 4 years ago. They were completely uneducated to be talking about something that was so serious. And so when I kept on going back and checking the podcast because I was like, what's going on here? And what they did was it was just fine. And then, I mean, it wasn't fine, but they left the comments going. Then they disabled the comments. Then about 4 hours after that, they took the video down. They have never addressed to this day why they took that podcast down, okay? The fact that their fans don't have an issue with the fact that they never addressed it, I mean, drama commentary channels for years, you know, have been called out. Like if we get a fact wrong, I get Sister Wives facts wrong, and people will say, Peter, this actually happened, blah, 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 whatever, with the selling of Coyote Pass. People get bent out of shape about that. And I'll come in the next video and I'll say, I was wrong about that. I didn't realize that Coyote Pass actually sold in March, not April. And I'll correct myself. The fact that we have been held to a different standard, and that Manny and Laura, who now are basically drama commentary channels, don't feel a necessity to address their audience, or that Raven and Miranda, I mean, you're talking about such arrogance, ego, and pride. It's like we can just say whatever we want to say. That they have missed the mark so much on this that they don't come out and even address it. Like, maybe we should have thought this through. Maybe this wasn't a good idea, you know? So I wanted to give the people a voice because there are so many comments. I mean, like, literally, there's not many positive comments on this video. I'm going to go into the top comments and just start from here. The number one comment is from 7 days ago. It has 5.3 thousand likes on it. And they're referring to Adam McIntyre. And the person says, an underage man, because that's what Colleen Ballinger refers to Adam McIntyre as in the interview. And what they're saying is, if he's underage, he's not a man, okay? An underage man, question mark. He was a child. Just wow at the word choices. There are 96 replies to this. Somebody said children, they were children. Somebody said this, he was a child. I feel so bad that he has to have his trauma shoved in his face again. And ladies, talking about his mom, I would have had some strong-ass words for you to these women, they're saying. Miranda said, underage fan. No way they're going... I can't even understand some of these comments. Okay, somebody said, who the fuck thought this was a good idea? Holy shit, LOL. 418 likes on this. By the way, there were a couple people that when I said this was about views, people said Raven and Miranda get good views in their podcast anyway. I don't know, you need to probably do your research, because I did do my research before I watched that video, or before I did my video the other day. And this is now at 148,000 views, one of their top podcasts that they've ever posted on their channel. It's one of their highest viewed podcasts. And it's only 7 days out, which means that, I mean, in 2 weeks, it could be their highest viewed podcast. So don't tell me they didn't do this for the views. They knew that this was going to get views. Somebody said, who the fuck thought this was a good idea? Holy shit, LOL. Maybe they are deleting things, because there's only 4 replies on here. Somebody said her mortgage advisor. Somebody said, why are you so mad at her? Somebody responded and said, if you have to ask this, you should really look at yourself. She was in her late 20s and early 30s. She was in her 30s. This was in her 30s. She's 38 today. The allegations came out when she was 36 years old, okay? So Adam McIntyre made the allegations 4 years prior to that, would have made her 32 years old, okay? So she was 30 to 32 to 36 at the height of this. She was in her early to mid 30s when she was doing all of this. Being inappropriate over the internet and in person, instead of realizing she was wrong and apologizing, she did the worst thing and pulled out a ukulele. People like her that still show no real change and is still calling her victims liars deserve the widespread dislike and hatred, and she should just retire and be with her family. Somebody said, the best part was she cried only talking about her lost career. All that matters to her. Already there, it should give you all you need to know about her. No remorse. 471 likes. And a lot of people commented that on mine as well. Oh, there's so many people in here defending her. Okay. Somebody said, this is hysterical for Raven. Says, we shouldn't throw stones when we don't know the entire story. How much research did these two do? And this one has 1.2 thousand likes on it. Somebody said none, absolutely none, agreed. Didn't even watch a live stream of Colleen giving away the underwear that's still up on her channel. Literally none. Everybody said that on mine as well, that they did absolutely no research whatsoever. Okay. Where, am I still in that same comment? Oh, yeah. Okay. This comment section really shows you how extremely filtered Colleen's comments are. 4.1 thousand likes. 38 replies. They have been deleting comments here as well. Somebody said this. Somebody responded, oh, 1,000% this. So apparently they are deleting comments on this. I didn't know that. Maybe that's why she was delusional to think she should go on another platform and get praise. She made herself a bubble where she never has to face reality. Somebody said, as of 11/16, there are 13,000 dislikes. She is fooling no one. I saw a lot of people, like somebody commented on my channel too and said that there was like 3,000 to like 13,000. 3,000 likes to 13,000 dislikes. And people were talking about that. So I thought that that was interesting too, the like to dislike ratio in this interview. Somebody said, the predators usually blame kids for their wrongdoings. Congratulations for lending your platform for doing this. 689 likes. Somebody said, what the fuck is wrong with y'all for platforming someone who is still to this day claiming that her victims are lying? 6.7 thousand views. I want to see the comments on this because there's a lot of people that are talking about the ideology of platforming somebody so that we can learn from them. I think the difference for that would be, you know, like I've been sober for over 30 years and I've had a lot of friends of mine that have been, you know, incarcerated in prison for many, many years. I'm a big believer in prison reform, and I have a lot of friends of mine in the Department of Corrections. I've had friends of mine that have worked for the Department of Corrections. I think to have somebody like that we platform that has gone through it, learned, shown, and changed, to maybe, like, we can learn from there. For me, like, that's very telling. To watch somebody that hasn't grown, to give them their responses. I mean, I understand, like, when people are saying, like, well, there's this whole discussion about why we shouldn't platform. I think the better discussion is choosing who do we platform. I don't know that maybe Colleen is the right choice. this platform of showing Colleen is showing how little she's grown, how little remorse she shows, and how they had to feed her excuses. I mean, literally, Raven says, I think they want an apology. And she goes, I know they do. And then she says, I'm sorry. I mean, like, they basically have to pull an apology out of her. So if that's what you're having to do, I'm not really sure what we're learning from that. I don't know why we're platforming that person. I mean, if Raven and Miranda, if their intention, okay, like, let's think this through. If their intention is to platform a predator that has completely changed, been rehabilitated, if that's even possible, has learned from what they've gone through, and is on the other side now, okay? They don't have to feed them answers. They don't have to give them any excuses. Even, let's just say, an influencer that's made a lot of fucked up mistakes, okay? Which Colleen's gone past that. I could understand that, to have a discussion. I think there's a lot of other people out there they could have asked other than Colleen Ballinger. Then for me, it has to be that the only reason they platformed her was for the views. So you really don't care about the people that Colleen Ballinger hurt because it's more about the views to you. So the views are more important than the people that were hurt. That to me is interesting. I also want to say one thing while I'm talking about this. I got a comment on my video and I thought it was a fair comment. All the comments on my videos are fair. But anyway, somebody said, please don't refer to them as victims, they're survivors. And I agree with that as well. The reason why I say victims, and I want to make this clear, is I think there was one video where I said something, it was a long time ago, where I said survivors instead of victims. And somebody reached out to me and said, that's up to the victim to be able to define how they choose to use it. And until they say otherwise, please refer to them as victims. And they explained that that was their personal story and that they were a victim and blah, 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 whatever. Not of Colleen Ballinger, but of a different situation. And it kind of opened my eyes that the person that has been in that position is the one that gets to define where they are on their journey. And that was, but I wasn't saying that to offend anybody. So I just want to make that clear. Somebody said, so, okay, what the fuck is wrong with y'all for platforming someone who is still to this day claiming that our victims are lying? I think a lot of the problem for me was that it wasn't like it took a lot of research, you know, like they could have watched one of Adam's videos. They could have watched, like, I mean, there's a lot of commentary channels out there that have now done entire extensive videos that are like an hour long of like the breakdown of Colleen Ballinger, that they could have watched one of those and known like every piece of it. Like they didn't have to go in and do extensive research. They could have maybe watched 2 commentary videos. I mean, I haven't done those videos, but a lot of people have done those videos. They could have done that. I think Paige Christie did a video like that. I think Inaber did. I don't know who's done it, but a lot of people have done those extensive Colleen Ballinger breakdown videos. So they could have gone just in and just watched one and understood all the allegations. It wasn't like, they could have watched Swoop's videos. I mean, there's not like they had to do extensive research. They could have laid in bed and watched some fucking YouTube videos, you know? Like, and so everything that she said, they couldn't counter. Like, when they were talking about the group chats, I mean, I was like literally shouting at my iPad. I was like, she was in the group chats after she was called out for being in the group chats, being inappropriate. She stayed in the group chats. She stayed in them. It wasn't like it was brought to her attention. She's like, fuck, I need to get out of these group chats like any normal person would probably do if it was just a simple mistake. You know, it's like, get the fuck out. I mean, it's baffling to me, you know, like, I don't know. Like, they couldn't even counter anything or ask her probing questions because they didn't know the answers. They didn't know anything about it. And it was so obvious. Yeah, they're talking about they did absolutely no research for all this interview and had no clue what they were talking about. That's what I'm saying. Somebody said, well, yes, this is true. I don't know why everyone is shocked when they have platformed multiple abusers over the years. This isn't new at all. That's one of the things that people were saying about me. I'm not speaking to that because I don't know. Somebody said, yep, disgusting. I'm not even asking which allegations she claims are false, let alone standing up for, okay, they're talking about, that the whole thing was being led by Miranda, not Simone. I don't know. Fuck no, you two did not just spend an hour joking around about grooming, somebody says. I mean, it very much felt that way. It really, really did. Before I get into these, this is going to stop in a second. Hold on. Okay. I'm just reading these straight down. Y'all couldn't have bothered to do an ounce of research. We need an apology video from Raven and Miranda for this apology video. The absolute tone deafness right here. If you care about your audience at all and you're not just doing it for your own self-serving nature, then maybe you apologize to your audience. Take the video down and say, this was really missed, okay? I mean, listen, if they go so, this is what is so interesting to me is that the major part of the interview is talking about Colleen Ballinger, okay, not listening to her fans, and Raven and Miranda agreeing with that, and here your fans are speaking to you, and you just go on like nothing's happened. I'm just reading these straight down. Asking her if she forgives herself before she's even properly apologized to her victims is crazy work. Let's be clear here, somebody says. If a grown man had sent a little girl underwear in the mirror or in the mail, we would not be doing this. It was such a gray area at the time nonsense. We would be calling him what he is. Let's see, there's 79. How many likes are on this? 4.1, and there's 7.9 thousand, or 79 comments on it. Everybody is going over that, but what everybody's not going over is that she was literally talking with minors about sex. No, that was just a Q&A. That's what she said. It was just a Q&A. Ooh, people are going at it after each other on here. Okay, let's go down here and read. For anyone who wants to know, likes, and this was from 2 days ago, 3.2 thousand likes, 14,000 dislikes. Comment section passed the vibe check. The amount of lies, mispoints, stories that don't add up is mind-blowing. Everyone not dropping it. That was a quote, I guess, from it. They were children, somebody said. This has 2.5 thousand likes on it. You haven't been online for 2 years. That's not true. She continued her channel just months after this was all unveiled. I talked about that in my video the other day. Adam, 13 years old. Can I have the dress? Colleen, 29 years old, laughing at Adam's tweets, calling everything ugly. Do you want the bra, Adam? That's 960. This, Colleen is such a liar. Somebody said this, I am so mad on Adam's behalf. He was never believed. He deserves the basic respect of being validated that his experience is factual, not his fault, and completely not normal. Do you want the bra, Adam? This is a quote from Colleen. It's unfortunately scorching in my mind. I can only imagine how he feels through all of Colleen's denial and lies. I mean, the interesting question is when they said to her, how will you explain this to your kids someday? Did y'all notice the jump cut? Although they said it's alive. I mean, it's live, but anyway. Title should be Colleen Ballinger lies for an hour, except at the end when she cries and admits all she cares about is the validation she receives from her fans. Is a bit lengthy, but more accurate. Y'all did no research. Didn't even bring up how she was saying Trisha Paytas sharing Trisha Paytas' porn to her child fans. The groomer allegations are true and have been proven. So, God, I miss when YouTube showed the number of you can go in there and look at it. She hasn't apologized to the children she affected. Not bringing up the Trisha situation is crazy. The title change is crazy because the original title change was something like The Real Apology from Colleen Ballinger or something. So y'all did no research whatsoever and let her lie the whole time. Friendly reminder, grooming isn't always sexual in nature. Colleen also groomed children to do her work for her and attacked anyone who called her out. This feels like all the research they did was watch a ukulele song 5 minutes before turning on the camera. The constant use of younger person rather than child and her refusing to use the word groomer or the P word shows she still won't acknowledge what she has actually done. Say it like it is. Keep in mind, she was already a mom when she was messaging, yes, I said this the other day, inappropriate things to minors in group chats. Let that sink in. A 30-year-old woman in chats with minors, like, seriously. Well, this is a weird decision to make. So you can still watch the live stream. It's still on her channel. Nowhere did Adam beg for lingerie. Better yet, she said she's going to send it to him. And even said his mom might be like, what? It's like part of my brain was missing. Sounds like Ned Fulmer's that part of my brain was damaged. Great excuse. Y'all really said, you know, we've heard a lot from the child victims, but not enough from the child groomer. That's the voice I want to listen to and platform. I think that's probably the most important comment on here, right? Like, when we're talking about platforming people, what are we really, like, if we're going to have a discussion about who to platform and who not to platform, what are we really essentially trying to learn from that? Like, that would be my question, right? Like, what do we have that we can learn from Colleen Ballinger? I don't see that she's grown a lot. I mean, she hasn't even made a video. If we need Colleen Ballinger to be platformed to understand what she's gone through and learned and grown, let her make the video on her own fucking channel, okay? Instead of playing with rocks and showing her kid's birthday party, her twin's birthday party, which I don't even know how she had time to put together a birthday party for their 1-year birthday party because she was in group chats asking people sexual questions about their periods, all right, while she's planning a 1-year-old's birthday party. Okay, but besides all that, if she wants to be platformed, she's got a huge platform. She's got a bigger platform than they do. If Colleen Ballinger came out and made a video and said, time to finally address all this and apologize to my victims, trust me, that video would get viewed, okay? It's not like she has to go on this podcast to get platformed to talk about her experience. So when we want to talk about this, who do we platform here? She's got a platform. She could do the video on her own damn channel, and it would get a lot of views, and we all know that. Somebody said, I love how the original title was Colleen's Actual Apology, and then look back at it, realize she still never apologized unless asked to do so, and then change the title to Colleen Telling Her Side. It's truly diabolical. 4.1 thousand views. Today you're saying, okay, this is the thing that we have to realize, right? When you see 4.1, I mean, on this comment section is crazy on a comment like that, okay? 4.1 thousand likes on a video that is sitting at over 100,000 views, okay? That's 4% of the people that watch this video. 4% like that were in the, a lot of people don't even read comments, like that comment. Not 4% of the people watched the entire video. Not 4% of the people commented. 4% of the people that watched the video liked that comment alone. I mean, that is very, very telling. Today, you're sitting down with a predator. The gaslighting during this entire episode is insane. I feel so bad for all of Colleen's victims. This is disgusting. This video is a perfect example of why celebrities with podcasts are not journalists. It's truly irresponsible. That I said this the other day. This is a long one. It goes on and on. This interview wasn't an interview. It was a pat on the head by the host saying, oh no, of course you weren't meaning it like that. It also looks like there was no research done on the victim side of the story 100%. I mean, it is just, it's unbelievably baffling. So, it's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. I'm going to look in their description box and see if they addressed it at all. Today we are joined by Colleen Ballinger, formerly known by her online persona Miranda Sings, to discuss the allegations that led to her cancellation. New episodes every Thursday. They have no pinned comment on here from themselves saying anything addressing it, so I guess they just chose not to address it. Baffling. Anyway, let me know what you think about all that in the comment section below. I will be signing Janet Smith Johnson. And here are your CCUs. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.